Okay, thanks a lot. So I would like to thank everybody who is watching and also the B-Side Charlotte committee for inviting us or letting us come here and talk to you today. Today's talk is about post-quantum cryptography. The title is You Can't Migrate What You Can't See. And of course, you may know about quantum computing. You may know a lot about quantum computing. You may know a little. You may know nothing. You may have heard of post-quantum cryptography. Uh, if I were to ask you what encryption algorithms, cipher suites, and so forth were used by the programs you use every day, if I ask most people, their eyes glaze over and they say, I don't know. And it's that kind of thing that we're trying to get at today. And I'm Joe Wilson. I am an emeritus professor at the University of Florida. I have I worked there for 41 years. I have a number of different GIAC certifications that I've held over the past in penetration testing, reverse engineering, forensic science, and what I'm here today as is the co-founder and CEO of QubitAC to talk about these things.
All right, so I'm Anurag Swarnim Yadav. I have a PhD in computer science from University of Florida, and I'm here as a co-founder and CTO of QubitAC.
Right. So what is it that we're protecting, and who are we protecting it from when we do cryptography? Well, cryptography is essential. When you send data across the internet, it's the gigantic fire brigade of the world where I give my packet to somebody and they give it to somebody else. Routers, ISPs, cloud providers, Wi-Fi access points, everybody along the way can read those messages. They can tamper with them. They can possibly impersonate you. So these three problems, cryptography solves them all to some extent. So what does cryptography guarantee? It doesn't guarantee the entire security triad. It doesn't guarantee availability. But if you do it right, it guarantees confidentiality because only the intended recipient and the generator of a message can read that. Everybody else sees just random stuff. And this is done with encryption. Integrity is guaranteed because if you tamper with a message in transit, if you have a message authenticity code, then this is detectable. So what you receive is exactly what was sent, and that uses cryptographic hashing. Authentication, this helps you prove who you are and helps you prove that who you're talking to is who they say they are if they're doing it right. This essentially, this is really, the most important part for most people. They want to make sure that when they're talking to their bank, they're actually talking to their bank, and their bank wants to know it's them. So this typically uses public key cryptography like reverse Shamira and elliptic curve cryptography, and depends on certificates. So cryptography is nearly ubiquitous. You see it almost everywhere, Neo. It's in every HTTPS website, which is almost every website you visit. The TLS is enabled on most of those, and it authenticates the server with certificates. All of these things happen. If you use SSH, every server you log into, you employ RSA and ECDSA to exchange keys and to create those keys with the Diffie-Hellman algorithm. And every deployment, every Git push, every sysadmin action across the network depends on this. And if they are not actually encrypted properly, they're unsafe. And if you use a messaging app like Signal, every private message is encrypted end to end. So only the sender and the recipient can see what's going on. If they're doing it right, then even Signal can't read your messages. The attacker's goal, of course, is to break all of this, to make your confidentiality disappear, to make sure that they can read every message you have, pretend to be you, and quantum computing threatens to make all of these three things trivial. So cryptography isn't just some feature that you turn on. It's the foundation of every secure system that exists. And if you remove it, every network becomes an open book.
Okay, so everything securing our network today rests on three hard math problems. RSA relies on the fact that multiplying two giant prime numbers is fast, but reversing that, finding the two primes from just the product would take a classical computer longer than the age of the universe. That asymmetry is your security. So ECC, which is the other one, works similarly. You hop along a mathematical curve, and the final point is your public key. Reversing that hop count is uh, computationally infeasible. Even with a 256-bit key size that is far smaller than RSA 2048. The third one is Diffie-Hellman solves a different problem. How do two parties agree on shared secret without ever transmitting it? Every side mixes a private secret into a shared value, swaps results, and both arrive at the same answer. Any person who is sitting and listening, who captures everything, cannot reverse the math. The fourth one, AES, is different. No hard math puzzle, just astronomically large. 2 to the power of 256 possible keys. Here is the most important thing to take away from this slide. These are not weak algorithms. They have resisted attack for decades. They are mathematically strong against classical computers. Quantum does not break the implementation. It makes the underlying hard problem easy to solve. This is what we are up against.
So what is a quantum computer anyway? Some of you may find this to be relatively well known to you. Others will not be familiar with it. This comes really from quantum physics, and it's not an electrical engineering based computer. So classical computers exploit electricity, transistors to do computation. Quantum computers exploit behavior of subatomic particles. And the computation method is entirely different. It's not just some kind of faster chip. Richard Feynman introduced this idea in a paper in 1982. He said, look, classical computers can't really efficiently simulate quantum systems because there's too much computation to do. If you want to really represent chemistry, materials, and physics problems, you really need a quantum computer. So this was his goal, to actually simulate these systems. The cryptography threat was identified later. In fact, in 1994, when Peter Shor came up with this idea of a cryptographic algorithm to factor numbers. And Shor discovered that a quantum computer, if it existed and had enough bits, could factor extremely large integers exponentially faster than any classical algorithm. It could essentially turn an exponential problem into a polynomial problem, if you're familiar with that idea. And RSA's core assumption is that it takes exponential time to do this. So all of a sudden, RSA now has an expiration date. The expiration date is when the quantum computers get big enough. So Feynman in 82 said, nature isn't classical, damn it. And if you want to make a simulation of nature, you better make it quantum mechanical. That's happening now. The quantum computers are good at some things, not good at other things, right? What are they good at? They're really great at factoring large integers, and this breaks Shor's algorithms. They are really good at the discrete logarithm problem, and that breaks ECC and Diffie-Hellman. They're really good at unstructured searches using Grover's algorithm, and that weakens AES and SHA hashes. So there are other things you can do to support chemistry simulations, drug discovery, material science, all those kinds of things as well. The things we're worried about are these first three. Quantum computers are not, in particular, not a faster laptop. They're not going to run your OS. They're not going to, help you, get a faster phone. They're not some kind of general purpose computing speed up. They only outperform classical computers on a narrow set of types of problems that can be implemented in a certain way. So there's no magic going on here. The computers that are being built today are extremely expensive. They operate at temperatures near absolute zero. There's work to try to overcome that. It's in its infancy. So this is not a replacement for classical computers. It's a different kind of machine entirely, but it's one that's really going to make your day bad if you want to have encryption using RSA and elliptical curves.
All right, so this brings us to a question. So what is quantum computer made of? Let's start with the atom of all computing, the bit. A classical bit is a light switch, on and off, 1 and 0. That is it. Every email, every TLS handshake, every encrypted file is billions of these switches flipping really, really fast. A qubit is different. A qubit can be 0, 1, or hold on to this, both at the same time. This is called superposition. Think of a coin spinning in the air. It is neither heads nor tails yet. It is both until it lands. A qubit is like that coin. It only picks a value when you measure it. This is not a metaphor. It is verified, measurable quantum physics. Now, here is where it gets important. Three classical bits can hold one of 8 possible values at a time, but only one at a time. 3 qubits hold all 8 values simultaneously. Each qubit you add does not add computing power, it doubles it. 300 qubits give you more simultaneous state than there are atoms in the universe. A quantum computer does not go faster, it changes the shape of the problem. Instead of running through a maze one path at a time, it explores every path at once. Now remember, what RSA relies on, and ask what happens when a computer can explore every possible factor simultaneously.
So there are really 3 properties that make quantum computers powerful. This superposition that Anurag talked about. You can think of this as every qubit is in 2 states at once. It's really not in 2 states at once. It's not in any state. It has possibilities to be in either state. But once you measure it, then it's in one state. And as Anurag said, this is not just some idea. It's actually the way these machines work. The second is entanglement. And this is interesting because you can get qubits that are entangled, that measuring one will determine the state of the other instantaneously. Einstein called this spooky action at a distance. You may have heard of this idea of, separating 2 entangled bits far across the universe to do faster than light speed communication. Oh, this is wonderful theory and wonderful things to think about, but entanglement makes a difference in a quantum computer. So this lets qubits cooperate, and this multiplies the computing power in the algorithms as a result of that. So you can think of this as being like 2 dice. Anurag has 1 die. He rolls it somewhere in India. I roll mine somewhere in Florida. They're entangled in such a way that the opposite sides show up. One of us rolls the dice. The other die, whoop, it magically ends up. Not magically, but actually ends up in the right state. So the third of these is interference. And this is not a property of the systems per se. It's a property of the algorithms. Quantum algorithms are designed so that they will generate a sequence of results that amplify paths or patterns that are associated with correct answers to the problem, such as find the factors of this number. So we will run this algorithm and it will amplify the patterns that correspond to the correct number over and over and over again. And it will cancel the paths or patterns that are associated with wrong answers. So this extracts this useful result, which seems like chaos of superposition. So without having this method, you really don't have quantum computing per se. This is how the method works, through this interference. And you can think of this like noise canceling headphones. That is, the sound wave comes into the microphone at the headphone, and the headphone immediately produces a canceling wave that will cause that wave to be essentially flat. So there's no sound. The same kind of thing happens for wrong paths or patterns in a quantum algorithm. So superposition explores all the paths, entanglement links the qubits together as a team, and interference leads us to the right answers and pulls them from the noise. And all of these are aimed in an adversary's computer at factoring your RSA, your large multiplication, two prime numbers, factoring it into the individual primes so that you can decrypt messages.
All right, so here's the question. How powerful these quantum computers are today? Well, reality check, because I know some of you are thinking this is all theoretical, right? Quantum computers are not actually a threat yet. Well, you're correct. IBM's best production chips are 133 to 156 qubits. Google's Willow chip, announced in December 2024, has 105 qubits. These are research tools, not weapons yet. But here's what matters about Willow. It is not the qubit count. Willow was the first chip to demonstrate below threshold error correction. As they added more qubits, error rates went down instead of up. This is a 30-year unsolved problem in the field. It provides large fault-tolerant machines can actually be built. On the resource side, in 2019, it was estimated you would need 20 million qubits to break RSA 2048. In May 2025, a Google researcher published a preprint showing that number drops to under 1 million. That is a 20 times reduction in one paper. It shows the trend. The bar keeps falling towards what is buildable. Nobody knows exactly when Q day is going to arrive, right? We all ask this question that, oh, when is going to be the Q day? Some say 2030. The window is 2035 as per NIST. Some say 2040 or beyond. But PQC migration will take at least 5 to 10 years, or if not 5 to 7 years. NIST has already set the 2035 deadline. If you're waiting for the headline that says quantum computers breaks RSA before you start, you're already behind.
So what is it that Shor's and Grover's algorithms do? I'll just briefly go over this and not get into extremely detailed math. I would lose myself, actually, if I did that. But Shor's algorithm uses quantum Fourier transforms, which essentially is Fourier transform is uses a superposition of waves. It uses this to find the period of a mathematical function in particular that has modular behavior in polynomial time. Normally, this would take exponential time. You'd have to search all of the possibilities. Here, you can do them all simultaneously. RSA and ECC both rely on problems that are instances of this sort of computation. And classical computers need exponential time to do this. Quantum computer does it in polynomial time. So this hard problem stops being hard. It's now it's no longer NP hard. It's polynomial. So if you want to factor a 2048-bit number, which RSA would depend on as its for its secrecy from the public key, classical computer will take billions of years to do that. A quantum computer, hours to weeks, perhaps, depending on how many qubits you have. Well, if you have enough qubits. And the security assumption essentially completely disappears. You're no longer secure. ECC, the smaller keys that they use that essentially are 256 bits, those fall before the 2048-bit RSA key because Shor scales with the key size, not with the security level in any sense. And for Diffie-Hellman, Shor's also can solve the discrete logarithm problem that Diffie-Hellman uses for the exchange of information that leads to the TLS keys. So TLS and SSH key exchange is compromised by this. Grover's algorithm is a little bit different. It gives quadratic speedup. And this essentially turns the problem of searching in an unsorted space having n elements in it into a square root of n problem instead of an order n time. So you won't expect that you'll have to search on average through half of these things to find them. You'll expect instead that half of the square root of n is how far you have to search. And if you apply this to symmetric cryptography like AES, it's like having every key, although it's actually more than having every key, but getting even smaller. So it's not really catastrophic, but the key size assumptions have to change. So if you're using AES 128, all of a sudden you're less than 64 bits secure rather than 128 bits. AS256, SHA-256, all of these problems become easier to solve, right? So you need to use larger and larger keys. The real important asymmetry is that Shor's provides this exponential speed up. There's no algorithm level mitigation for it. If you're using that approach, it is vulnerable. If you look at Grover's algorithm, the problems that you have are manageable by increasing the key sizes. So these methods, AES and similar methods, they survive, but they become a little harder. So Shor's breaks every protocol. AS256 survives, but only if the key exchange that sets it up isn't quantum vulnerable. Because the reason AES is used in transmissions is because it's more efficient to do this over a long stream communication than to try to use public key cryptography for every block that is sent. As a result, a cryptographic key exchange happens to identify and share the AES symmetric key. So if that exchange is insecure, the problem's still insecure.
All right, so harvest now, decrypt later. The threat is present tense. Everything we covered so far has been theoretical. Here is where it gets real. Nation state adversaries are not waiting for Q-Day to start attacking. They are collecting your encrypted traffic right now. Not to read it today, they cannot, right? But know that what is unreadable today will be readable on Q-Day. The data is worth less to them right now. It becomes priceless later. The attack is intercept, store, and wait. This is not speculation. In 2018, Canadian internet traffic to South Korea was rerouted through China. In 2019, a similar interception hit European mobile traffic. In 2020, traffic from Google, Amazon, Facebook, and over 200 other networks were redirected through Russia. These are consistent with large-scale harvest now, decrypt later collection operation. We may never know for certain what was captured. So the question is, who is at most risk? Anyone whose data needs to stay secret for years, like government and defense, healthcare, financial services, R&D, medical records from 2024 could be readable in 2032. A diplomatic cable sent today could be decrypted before the situation it described has resolved. And the industry is not ready. A 2025 survey found 75% of businesses are concerned about harvest now, decrypt later. Only 23% have a strategy to address it. As of early 2024, only 3% of the HTTPS traffic used post-quantum algorithms, though that is climbing faster. Of course, thanks to like companies like who are taking initiative. The bottom line is, you do not need to wait for a quantum computer to be a victim. You only need to have data worth storing today. You're eligible. You're already in that window.
So the National Institute for Standards has created some standards for post-quantum cryptography already. In 2004, in August 2004, they finalized 3 particular post-quantum algorithms after a long international competition, and these are available to deploy now. FIPS 203 is ML-KIM, the modular lattice-based key encapsulation mechanism, formerly known as Crystal's Kyber. For those who care, it replaces effectively RSA key exchange and ECDH and Diffie-Hellman. So you use this for exchanging TLS keys, for VPN session setup, for getting key agreement in any protocol that needs it. And it's a near drop-in replacement for ECDH and TLS 1.3. Uses small keys, fast operation. It is the primary basis for encryption migration today. And it's already deployed by Cloudflare, Chrome, Firefox, and Signal. FIPS 204 modulatus digital signature algorithm, crystals dilithium, wow, replaces RSA signatures and ECDSA, ADDSA. And you use this for TLS certificates, code signing, JWT tokens, document signing. And it is also a drop-in replacement. It's a little bit larger than RSA. It's clearly more quantum resistant, and it's the primary standard for authentication. SLHDSA is another digital signature algorithm, and this is what you would use for root certificate authorities, firmware signing, and long-lived certificates and critical infrastructure. So it's a conservative backup for MLDSA, and it's slower and uses larger signatures. But if lattice cryptography is ever broken, then this will still be secure. So the 203 and 204 are based on lattice methods. So if you look at the NIST IR 8547 deadline, it says these quantum vulnerable algorithms, RSA, ECCDH, they need to be deprecated from all NIST standards by 2035. They are pinning it at 2035. The EU is also looking at 2030 and 2035 timeframes for this as well. And so high-risk systems have to transition earlier than this. Federal agencies are required to have new classified systems use only post-quantum safe methods by 2027.
All right. So before we talk about the hybrid TLS, we need to make sure everyone understand what TLS version they are running and why it matters. TLS 1.2 was released in 2008. It still runs on 70 to 80% of the servers. The problem is it supports RSA key exchange, static keys with no forward secrecy. If your TLS 1.2 session is harvested today, your server key is ever compromised, every past session can be decrypted. It allows dozens of cipher suites, including broken ones like RC4, SHA-1, 3DES, and the handshake is sent largely in plain text, exposing metadata about every connection. Now that was TLS 1.2 for you. In TLS 1.3, it fixed all of that in 2018. RSA key exchange is completely removed. Forward secrecy is mandatory for every single connection. Each session gets a unique ephemeral key that is discarded after use. Compromising the server key cannot decrypt past traffic. The cipher suite list drops from dozen to just 5 modern options, and the handshake is encrypted, and it is definitely 30 to 50 times faster. So 1 round trip instead of 2. Now, NIST has mandated, of course, you need TLS 1.3. You cannot just use 1.2 and think about migration. You need to have 1.3 because TLS 1.3 support for all federal systems from January 2024. The NSA has issued guidelines saying 1.2 should only be used with careful selected cipher suites. But here's the thing. Every TLS 1.3 with ECDHE is not quantum safe. ECDHE is still broken by Shor's algorithm. Forward secrecy limits the blast radius, but it does not eliminate harvest now, decrypt later exposure. Full quantum safety. For full quantum safety, you need for the next slide.
Right. So let's look at TLS 1.3, just vanilla TLS 1.3, 1.2, vanilla 1.3, and 1.3 with hybrid PQC. If you look at TLS, we'll look at all the elements here. So for key exchange, TLS 1.2 is dead after quantum computing, after Q-Day. Key exchange will be okay for TLS 1.3, and it will be even better for 1.3 with MLK-EM. For forward secrecy, broken after Q-Day in 1.2. It's also broken today if you have exponential time to solve the problem. In 1.3, forward secrecy is mandatory. Every session key is unique. And in 1.3 with hybrid PQC, it's mandatory, and the ephemeral keys are also quantum safe. So if they are captured, you're still good. As to quantum safety of TLS communications under 1.2, no way. Shor's algorithm breaks the RSA key exchange. In TLS 1.3, ECDHE is broken by Shor's. In 1.3 with hybrid PQC, we're safe. For harvest now, decrypt later, TLS risk is extremely high. HNDL risk is smaller, but forward secrecy limits that damage. In HNDL, the risk is completely eliminated. The handshake improves with each change in TLS. The adoption is really small right now for 1.3 with hybrid PQC, about 38% of traffic in 2025, according to Cloudflare. The migration away from TLS 1.2 is absolutely critical. It is your number one priority. 1.3 is a good start, but you really need to use MLKEM, and you need to deploy that now. So the handshake runs both classical ECC and MLKEM for key exchange simultaneously. Both shared secrets are combined to derive the session key. So an attacker has to break both of those to compromise the session, either classical or quantum. And that means you get quantum safety today without dropping backward compatibility. And this is already deployed, as I say, by Cloudflare, Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Signal, and Apple. So you're good to go today if you migrate to this.
All right. So before we talk about our demo and before we talk about our tool, I know we all have been waiting for that all this time. So let's talk about, like, under the hood, how this tool works. So the tool runs a 6-stage pipeline. Each stage feeds directly into the next. You start with nothing but a domain name. All you need is just a domain name, and by the end you have a complete cryptography bill of materials. So in the stage 1 is subdomain discovery using Subfinder, pulling from passive sources across the internet. Stage 2 resolves these subdomains with DNSX. Anything that doesn't resolve to a live host gets dropped here. Stage 3 probes HTTP and HTTPS across all relevant ports using HTTPX. So we are not assuming everything is on 443. So basically the idea in the third step is, if I run any of the web services, I want to differentiate which one runs HTTPS and which one runs HTTP. Now, the stage 4 is where the crypto analysis actually happens. Our open SSL scanner checks the TLS version, cipher suites, key exchange algorithms, and certificate details. I mean, all the good stuff. The stage 5 runs a parallel SSH scan. Now, this stage 5 is if you actually want the SSH, all that information, you can ask the tool to do it for you. If you don't want, all you need is TLS and all that good stuff, you can just skip this one, right? That's the our stage 5. And stage 6 ties it all together into a cryptography bill of materials. And in the end, when the tool finishes the scan, you will get a crypto bomb JSON file with every finding mapped together into its NIST PQC replacement. All right. So the tool flags 4 categories of findings. It will tell you if you are using 1.3, 1.2, and if worse, I mean, if you're using 1.0, 1.1, that's even bad. But the tool will tell you that. It will tell you the RSA key exchange, all the cipher suites, the encryption you're using, your certificates, how long, when is it due, is it in good state, bad state, things like that. Okay. Now, what it does is, like, then it later maps all these encryptions into the NIST guidelines. If you're using, say, RSA, what you need to migrate to, things like that, and what should be the timeline according to the NIST. And what we also have a scoring system. What we have done is, like, when we will run this whole scanner, it gives you 2 kinds of scoring system. One is what we call systems scoring, the whole system scoring system. So, like, it will combine your certificate health, and it will combine your TLS, and if you did SSH, it will combine all of these, and based on that, it will give you a score out of 100 that how is your whole security is working. And then we have a fully dedicated PQC scoring system, which will be all about where you are right now and what you need to migrate to get a better score. Okay, and that we will see in a live demo right now.
Do you want me to stop the share so you can share the live demo?
Yes, Dr. Wilson, let me just tell about this. All right, so a few things I missed. With our tool, you don't have to worry about finding all this, go to internet, install anything. And now that when you run this tool, it will find what are the dependencies that are missing, and it will ask you if you want to install. If you just say yes, it will install everything for you. Second thing, we did make sure that we do have some minimum versions that is completely working. So if you're missing some versions, in that case, it will tell you, hey, these versions are missing. And then if you want to upgrade, we will do it for you. So it is basically a one-stop shop. You come here, you run the domain, and it will do all the job. Now, like I was telling you in the past slide, that if you just give me just the domain, this tool, it runs port 443. That's a very basic, very basic thing you can do with this tool, right? You don't want to know your port HTTP or port 80. All I want to know is how my port 443 is doing, right? Now, one thing to remember here is some of the servers are slow, right? They do respond like after 90 seconds, the handshake takes 120 seconds, right? So for that, we do have this time thing that because in our basic, if you just run the basic scan, the time is set to 10 seconds because, of course, when you run bigger infrastructures, you don't have time to wait for that long, right? But if you want, you can increase the seconds, but say from 30 seconds, 80 seconds, and if still the handshake doesn't happen, it will write a file where those domains that we missed out because of timeout, you can go and check as well, right? And then the third version is if you do just --all, it will do everything for you. It will do your TLS, it will do SSH. Of course, we are thinking about adding VPNs right now, but that we will not demonstrate because we are more focused on the web and the SSH for this demonstration. So now I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Share. So show my screen. Oh, okay. I guess I need to share it. Share it. Yeah. Okay. So
Inception.
All right. So the first question is where I can get this tool. All you have to do is you go to just a sec. You go to our website. You go to AC Scanner, and you can just download directly from here. Give your information, and this is just for us to know, who has requested it. That's it. Once you do that, you download, and then you come back to the dashboard. You upload your JSON here, and you will get all the information. So now, once you download the tool, it will have all these files that we talked about. It has doc and things that README file if you need more in-depth knowledge about the tool. All you have to do, like I said, I'm just going to run a very basic command right now. I will do sh just a sec. Okay, so I'm going to do sh.
We see your browser.
Yeah. You're seeing my browser. Okay, yes. So I need to, I guess, present something else. Chrome tab, entire screen. Okay. All right. Dr. Wilson, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we see it.
Okay. So as you can see, when you download the tool, you have all these files present in that zip file. Uh, it has README file. You can read in depth about the tool and all that stuff. What to run it? The very easy command is you do sh, you do scan.sh, whatever domain. I'm going to scan my domain right now. So I will say QubitAC.com. And since I'm not doing web, I'm just doing the basic command. It will just run port 443. So like you can see, it will check all the dependencies right now. Clearly, one of my tool is outdated, which I was not expecting because I was doing testing on something else. Uh, okay, let me. Uh, so if you just do say no, okay, it's not going to do it. Let me see if I can. It will take time. I'm sorry, Dr. Wilson. Can you? Is there any way you can do this?
Oh, I cannot do it. I have
Oh,
not. I have not. I do not have it up right now
so
on
let
this
me
machine.
see how. Let me see if I can see.
Go
Let
ahead,
me see.
give it a shot.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I was testing all this on my different computer, and
It's
I
okay.
completely forgot. But well, you can
Now,
clearly
now
see.
people get the entire experience. They get to see exactly what happens
Yeah.
when
So
when
you
you
can
type yes.
see here.
If do you have a saved JSON that you can upload to the uh, dashboard?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Let me see.
You can do that.
Oh,
You have a bill of materials.
I don't have it. But guess what? I'm going to get. We also have a GitHub, so let's just grab from the GitHub. Uh, because GitHub has example files. So what I'm going to do is, all right. So if I see that, I see here that if I go to AC scanner, so you here you can see we have qubit.com. That's what happens when you scan the whole thing and you get a folder. And if I go to qubit.com here, you will see it did run on
You've
17th.
got nothing in there.
Right. So well, guess what? I'm like, we're just going to upload that for now.
Okay. Do you want me to share and we'll just continue with the presentation, not do the live demo?
Yeah.
Okay. Stop your share and I'll do it.
Yeah.
One moment. Okay. So I think you were about to talk about this slide.
Yes. So we have to show it on the dashboard how it looks like, right?
You don't, we don't have the dashboard though, do we?
We do have JSON files, so when we upload it to the dashboard, it will work.
Okay. I think you didn't have the JSON file there. So just go ahead and go with this slide. We'll just talk this and people can see the demo live.
All right. So of course, like if I had all this everything figured out, this is how it looks like when you run it. It will check how many subdomains are there, and how out of those subdomains, how many of them are live, and out of those, how many are running the web services, which is like either it is port 443 or different combinations that we have. And then if you say if you skipped SSH, it will tell you, hey, you skipped SSH. We are all just doing HTTPS, and the CBOM will be generated. Well, I do, Dr. Wilson, I do have the JSON file. So let me just
You
share.
want to stop sharing then?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to share quickly? Yeah. If you can share quickly, that'd be great.
Okay. So I do have that. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to do
Excellent.
it. Let me just see where I am. Okay. So I'm in document. I will just go to document, AC scanner, AC scanner. This is what I downloaded. Okay, so I have this date. Okay, so when you are here, you go to CBOM, you take this, you open, and here you go. You have clearly, we are not ready for post-quantum cryptography. It says 0. But yes, this is how it looks like. If you go to HTTPS post, see how it found all the domain and subdomains, what version we are running, what ciphers was negotiated, what was the key exchange, and of course the certificate, how long is valid. If it's not ready, it will tell you it's not post-quantum cryptography ready, and what is the risk? Risk is high. Of course, like if you run more, you can select it, or you can do the filtering from here. You can, if you want just the vulnerable one, you can click here. It will, if it's safe, it will show it here. If you do all, it will show you all. Now, I did run during this scan, I did run the HTTP, so that's why it tells me the HTTP as well. I'm running on port 80, so everything gets redirected to HTTPS. And here it also tells you the server and the server version I'm running. Now, if you go to TLS certificate, it tells you for the domain and subdomains, who is the subject, who is the issuer, what curve was used, what is the hash for the certificate, the expiry date, and is the certificate valid or not. We don't have SSH information here because, of course, I didn't do SSH. It was just about web. Now, this is the main tab. If you come here, it will tell you everything about quantum. You can clearly see the priority is critical because you can see you have to deploy the hybrid PQC. So I'm using 1.3. I have to go to hybrid PQC, and I have to migrate the certificate as well, right? So there are two things, and it will tell you what effort it needs to make it fully post-quantum cryptography ready. Clearly, it tells you your encryption is not ready, your certificate is also not ready for both of my domain and subdomain. Now, here the scoring system, we have a scoring system. It just tells you that since both are not ready, you get the score of 100. That means it's critical. As per us, you should migrate like this year, by the end of next year. As per the NIST, of course, there's a deadline. It tells you all that reference, all the good stuff, Here, it gives you more information about, is it related to quantum? Is it related to network? What is the problem? You get all these information all just by one scan, so everything you can see here, everything is here. And like I was telling you during my presentation, this is the security health of the overall network, and this is the PQC ready version. I have 0 because I'm not ready yet. And we also give you top recommendation, what needs to be done. If you come here to the recommendation tab, it gives you all the recommendations. All right, Dr. Wilson.
Stop that share. I'll go ahead. Can you stop your share? Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Oh, stop sharing. Yes.
Okay. I am trying to find my share link, and I do not see a link to share. This is great.
So
yeah. I can't find the share link on here.
In the bottom, it's just share screen. Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's it's now magically missing.
Do you want me to pull the slides?
If you can share the last 2 slides.
Yeah. All right. So
yeah, that'd be great, because I actually cannot share.
Yeah. So I
okay.
think,
well, actually, this is that's the slide we need right now.
Yeah.
No, move forward. One more.
Oh, yes, here.
Yeah, right. So how do you prioritize your PQC migration? First, fix your HNDL exposure. Second, fix your authentication chain. Third, fix the manageable risks. You can run the ACDI scanner that we have right now, fix your RSA key exchange, replace it with quantum safe exchange. enable TLS 1.3, and move to MLKEM 768, and then inventory your certificates and get post-quantum ones. And finally, so what is this? What is the takeaway? Last slide here is that is that what you thought you couldn't see now, you can see it. You can migrate it. The threat's present today because of HNDL. The standards are ready today because NIST has made it easy for you and the path is clear. Download our scanner, scan yourself, improve your security. The end.